Hello, my fellow divine beings. It's a joy for me to come to you to share the information that is revealed to me by the universe, to share. And the idea of sharing the information that channels through me is to help my fellow universal beings or divine beings to awaken from the sleep that you are in. Your Jamaican soul teacher is here to share the knowledge, the information that is necessary for us in this time, in this century, that the information that we need so that our journey here in this realm will be one that is pleasing to us and not be an hindrance for us. Now, today I want to talk to you about the COVID-19 pandemic that is crippling the world. It has placed the world on its knees. The pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic that we have been experiencing for some time now. The pandemic has spread, or the virus has spread all over the world. No one is safe. For some countries, they are experiencing devastation. Hundreds, thousands of persons are losing their lives on a daily basis, my listeners. However, I'm here to tell you today, my listeners, as one who is connected to the source, as one who is connected to the divine, that this too shall pass. While we might be losing persons, we're losing lives, there is hope. There is hope, my listeners, that a brighter day is coming. A better day is coming. A day is coming when this virus or this outbreak will be a thing of the past. However, my listeners, I just want to bring to your attention, if you have not already noticed it as yet, is that life as we knew it will never be the same. The reality that was created for us by societies will never be the same, my listeners. As it now stands, countries are on shutdown, economies are on shutdown, businesses are on shutdown, education systems are on shutdown, or medical facilities are overwhelmed. No one ever expected anything like this, my listeners. The planes are grounded. The ships are anchored. The trains are not moving. The transport systems in the countries are barely moving. The main things that are happening in the world these days, my listeners, is food, medicine, and healthcare. And those are the main things that we need to survive. Food, medicine, and healthcare. If you notice, my listeners, the other systems are at a standstill. And one may wonder, my listeners, if life as we knew it will ever be the same. If the way we went about business or the way we went about life, will that ever return? Or will this outbreak result in a new world, in a new way of thinking, in a new way of living, in a new way of existing? That's the question, my listeners, that I'm posing today. Will the shutdown of the world result in a new world, in a new society, in a new way of life for the people of this world? As I've discussed in my videos, my listeners, that we all fall prey to a society that was created by the powers that be. So we are indoctrinated from birth. School system, the educational system, the socialization groups. We are indoctrinated. Society, interaction. We are told how to live. We are told what to eat, what to drink. We are told where to live, how to live. We are told what will make us happy. But up until now, my listeners, those things have not worked. Or if any one of my viewers can tell me that what they were told has worked and they are happy, then I would love to hear from you. But my listeners, the question is, will life return to what it was before? Or will we see a new world coming out of this pandemic? My listeners, never has anyone alive today have ever experienced anything like this, where the world has literally stopped. It has not stopped spinning, but in terms of activities, my listeners, everything has stopped. Persons are afraid to go out. Persons are afraid to leave their homes. Persons are afraid to interact with anyone. Persons are fearful. They are scared, my listeners. All because of a virus, an invisible virus that no one can see. No one can see it coming, but it is there. My listeners, there are a lot of lessons that we can take from this virus or this outbreak. My listeners, we are forced to take a break from life. We are forced to take a break from the status quo. We are forced to take a break from reality as we know it. My listeners, if anyone told us that the world could have shut down like this, we would have said, you need to go to a mental institution because you have lost your mind. But my listeners, it has happened. The structures in the society are on their knees. And the thing is, my listeners, we are still alive, we are still breathing, we are still living. So why is it that we have allowed ourselves to become such a part of the structures in the society? Is it that we were not able to think outside the box or see life in a different light? Well, my listeners, this shutdown of the world has shown us that the life as how we knew it is not necessarily how it ought to be or how it was created to be. My listeners, we now have an opportunity to look inward and find our real reason for being here. We are now able to look inside, my listeners, to find ourselves. We are now able to look inward to find life, because everything that we need is inside. Nothing is on the outside, my listeners. Whatever we need is on the inside. So this virus, my listeners, it has now forced us to communicate with each other on a personal basis, on a one-to-one basis, and not just with technology, because it forces us to stay indoors. It forces us to stay among our families, my listeners. It forces us to be concerned about the other person, because how the virus is spread, we have to ensure that we do the necessaries, that we practice good hygiene, and that we keep ourselves clean so that we don't infect others. So this virus, my listeners, forces us to become human and be concerned about the next person, and the next person, and the next person, because it's a rippling effect, my listeners. If someone infects another person, that person infects another, and the list goes on. We have heard many stories of this happening, my listeners, where one person infects. It can be hundreds, it can be thousands. So, my listeners, there are lots of takeaways from what is happening now, this COVID-19 virus. And the takeaway is not for us to be fearful, but for us to learn, to look, to see what the virus is telling us, or what this outbreak is teaching us, my listeners, because the bigger picture is there. This year is 2020, and it's a year of vision, my listeners. When you have 2020 vision, you are able to see clearer. So, my listeners, it's for us to take a step back. Most of us are home, or most persons are home. Some persons working from home. So persons have an opportunity to be away from the hustle and bustle of the office or school or wherever. So, my listeners, we can even reconnect with nature. A lot of us have not even noticed that nature still exists. And my listeners, all of us are part of nature. Nature is a part of us. We are part of nature. And one example is that the trees are an extension of our lungs, because when we breathe oxygen that the trees make and we breathe out carbon dioxide, it goes to the trees. The trees turn that carbon dioxide into oxygen. So it's like a cycle. Without trees, my listeners, we wouldn't have oxygen. And the list goes on. We get our food from the earth. We get our food from the trees, from the plants. So, my listeners, this outbreak, or the situation that we are in, my listener, where the world has stopped, gives us an opportunity to start over, my listeners. It gives us an opportunity to get back to nature, to get back to being ourselves, get back to finding who we are and turning inward, my listeners. It is my wish, my listeners, that we do not just be fearful about what is happening. I'm not saying that we are not to be concerned, but do not be overcome by fear, because we all need to be positive so that we can raise our levels of vibration and raise the level. And when we raise our levels of vibration collectively through our collective consciousness, we're able to raise the level of vibration of the universe and increase the frequency of vibration in the universe. When we do this, my listeners, we are able to will the cure into being. We can call the cure to come into this universe, my listeners. So let us take a step back and see what are the lessons to learn. How do we move forward as individuals, as families, as communities, as societies, as leaders? How do we move forward from here? I see this, my listeners, as a new beginning. Mother Nature is cleansing the earth. The systems are being broken down, my listeners. The way we knew things before, it is showing us that they were not necessary. The reality that were created for us as human beings were not necessary, for we are divine beings. We are divine beings sharing or living a physical life, a physical existence, my listeners. So let us individually, my listeners, convince ourselves that This will be a new beginning for us. Look in our lives, search our lives, my listeners. Look where we fell short. Look where we fell short, and promise ourselves that we will work on ourselves. We will start afresh. The shortcomings that we had, we will work on them so that we can create a better society. We can create a better world, one that is fitting for all to live and exist in an atmosphere of peace and love, my listeners. This is Nadja Brown, your soul teacher, your motivational speaker. I thank you